Goal from the 9. Carr throws into traffic. Intercepted. The Bengals have the ball. They are running it back. Sam Hubbard.
Stanford Jennings is going to go all the way. When it comes down, the Bengals are champions.
Now the Bengals Super Bowl chances rest on his right foot. The kick is up. It is good.
Today, Bengal fans, here we gather, talking football back for year 5. We're covering all things Who Dey Nation. We're glad you joined us here tonight. Special guests, past and present players. You never know who you might see. One thing that's for sure, it's all things Bengals. And it all goes back to charity. We at Talking Football want to thank you for joining us for the show tonight. By the fans, for the fans, until the very end. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and friends.
Had to mute on, my bad. Hey, welcome everybody. It's almost football season, guys. We got tonight a packed lineup. We're going to be talking to Joe Dannerman with Fox19. We're going to do a Jungle Jam recap, kind of give you an idea, if you didn't get a chance to make it, what went on that day. We're going to talk about the Bengal Jim and Friends bourbon, how many bottles have been sold and how much have been raised for Alzheimer's Association. And at the end of the show tonight, somebody is going to get 2 tickets to every single game, preseason and regular season, in section 158. Somebody will be winning that tonight, and James has got the Wheel of Fortune ready to go for that this evening. We got Joe Dannerman in the waiting room. Before we bring him on, guys, it's good to be back on. I know we took a break after Jungle Jam, and it's good to see everybody.
I think we needed that break. Great weather, just a great day. As you mentioned, Jimmy, we'll certainly talk about that a little bit later in the show, but thanks to the fans for showing up and showing out. It was a wonderful day for sure. Tom?
It was much more than I expected. The enthusiasm, everybody's patience as we work things. And I know Jimmy was down at camp today and got 1,000 pat on the backs and everything. And I think just as much as anything, I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that they didn't know that the panic and the running around and the worry and the stress and the messages and everything else that went into it. But in the end, it was fun. And, hopefully as great as it went this year, we can even do it bigger, better, and stronger next year.
Thomas, they only knew we're pretty close on this screen right here, but man, the text strings and phone calls we were having, man, we were going at it. There was so much stuff going into Jungle Jam, man, and we came out of it still friends, so we're still good to go. So, Tom, let's go and get it kicked off here. You want to go do our intro and our guests? I'm pretty excited about this tonight.
Absolutely. Big news this offseason for Bengal fans. Fox, WXIX, Channel 19 here in Cincinnati will be the new preseason home of the Bengals, and also going to have a lot of other things for the Bengals. I think what Bengal fans have gotten used to from coverage from a local TV station is even going to be enhanced, and like we just said, bigger, better, stronger. So with that, the main man for sports at Channel 19, Joe Danneman, is kind enough to join us tonight, and here he is.
Guys, thanks for having me on. Let me say this about Jungle Jam. Okay, so in addition to becoming the new flagship station of the Bengals, that widened our sports department unlike it's ever been before. I mean, I think back to when Dan Horde was the anchor here. We used to have 4 people then, but we've been a 2-person shop for more than 10 years. But now that we have the Bengals contract, we have the preseason games, we have a lot of live special programming coming up this football season. We hired new people, and they just started here in the last month. So they both covered Jungle Jam. They came back and said, this is different here in Cincinnati. I said, yes, it's very unique to how they do it and what they do. So congratulations to you guys on that. You certainly made the day for a couple of my new coworkers and gave them just a little bit of a taste of what Cincinnati's like here in football season, especially now during this golden age. I didn't even think about saying that now with Joe Burrow's hair color, but certainly a golden age here of football in Cincinnati.
That's good stuff. We saw them down there. They were having a good time too, Joe. So it was fun to see them down there. So a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. Everybody that's watching right now, we have about 300 plus folks watching live. I know that number will continue to grow as the show goes, but type in some questions for Joe. We'll try to get to some of those questions for you, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Type them in. We will try to flag those and get those questions to Joe. But Tom, go ahead and get us kicked off with some questions for Joe.
Joe, a lot for you tonight to fill you up. But first off, how did this come about? When you were informed of the opportunity of this, how excited were not just you in the sports department, but the entire news team?
Yeah, this has become a station-wide thing. This is not just the sports department, because we all understand the kind of pool the Bengals have right now. So our GM, her name is Jennifer Reefer. She's relatively new to Cincinnati. She's been here for a couple of years now. She's very aggressive when it comes to sports programming, sports special programming. So when word went out on the street that the Bengals might be shopping around the contract for their TV partner, look, it's been Local 12 for my entire career here in Cincinnati, and I started around 2001. So that's all I've known here working in Cincinnati, is that the Bengals TV partner was Local 12. So when it came up, she made a strong bid for it. So did Channel 5, so did Channel 9, Channel 12 made a bid to try to keep it. The Bengals chose our bid, and it was, quite honestly, when I was told, I was pretty stunned. We understand here in Cincinnati, the Bengals don't like change very often, especially within this kind of part of the organization. So when we found out, we said, okay, well, we got to do it bigger. We got to do it better. We have to hire more. We have to come up with a plan of everything we're going to do. And I think we have a great feel on what we're going to provide Bengals fans starting this football season. And I'll give those details out as we go throughout the show here. But yeah, it went onto the street a few months ago. Now, 6-7 months ago is when we started trying to get it. And it was a long process. Every station wanted it. They chose us. And for me, I'll be honest, when I first found out, I knew it was a game changer. I knew it was a life changer. I knew it was a career changer, because I had been doing my job, guys, one way for about 10 years with Jeremy Rao and myself being kind of this tag team here at Fox 19. Now I knew we were going to get bigger. Things were going to change, and we're right in the middle of those changes right now. And I think when you start anything new like we're starting right now, I think there are some nerves. I think there's some apprehension. Are we going to deliver? I know we will, but you want to get to the point where we can start delivering this stuff so we can kind of get into a good rhythm of doing what we're going to be doing weekly during the football season.
So what can we expect for some of the preseason games we'll be watching, Joe? Anything you're able to share with us?
So the 3 preseason games will all be on Fox 19 now. The big question was who would be calling those games. They're going to keep the same broadcast crew. So Anthony Munoz is still going to be doing the color announcing. Marissa Contepelli will still be on the sideline. They'll still have the same play-by-play guy. The actual game production is out of our hands. That's done by a veteran production group who does football games for a living. So we are the platform to air it, but the same look, the same feel that Bengals fans have been accustomed to, they will get with the preseason games. The one thing we are going to add is special programming going into each game. So we are going to have a 1-hour live special before each preseason game, both home and also on the road in Chicago. So that's one big change that fans will see in the preseason, is extra programming leading up to the game. And then we'll go straight into our newscasts after the game and continue our live coverage of the Bengals after the game. So the actual game production and the folks calling the game, that won't change, but the actual pregame show and everything we're doing up to the game will be a new addition this year.
I apologize for interrupting. And Joe, you may not understand this, but James and Jimmy and all of our loyal listeners were, when he said Marissa was still going to be helping call the games, did you hear one guy screaming joy to the north? I know I could. But,
I did not, but I don't think you're alone in that one. She's got quite the fan base. And look, she's going to be using our studio. We're building, guys, we have this huge studio here. And maybe a little bit later in the show, if I can take this mobile, I can go show you what we're building right now for this new Bengals studio we're putting into our newsroom, or right outside of our main studio. And Marissa's going to be using that on a weekly basis to tape some of her shows. So we have a great working relationship with Marissa. We share content all the time. Now we have an official partnership with her, and she's going to be coming by the studio here. So it's a good thing Marissa and I get along very well because we'll be working side by side, hand in hand here, starting this coming football season.
Guys, I knew there was a reason why I like Joe. We're going to have our first trivia question of the night. What first class, best university in the country did Joe go to school at? The best journalism school in the country.
Don't say it, Joe.
Indiana?
So there's a reason orange is my favorite color. And it's not just because I'm from Cincinnati and I've been around the Bengals my whole life, but it's also because of my alma mater. Yeah, orange is my thing. Syracuse University. Look, Dan Hord's the one who got me into this business. When it came time to graduate, I was given advice by my advisor to start calling alumni that you might know, might have a connection with. And Dan was working in Cincinnati. I'm from this area. And when it came time to get a job, I called Dan up and just was picking his brain about getting into this business. And he said, we're always hiring entry-level position guys. So I started on the bottom of the totem pole at Fox19. I was writing Trisha Mackey's scripts. I was writing Jack Atherton's scripts just to get a foot in the door, and then worked my way into sports producer, sports reporter, and now eventually sports anchor and sports director. But Dan Hord, a fellow Syracuse guy, is the reason I am here in front of all these Fox19 logos behind me.
See, not Northwestern, not Missouri, Syracuse guys, sir.
Yes.
So that comes up every show. And there's, in addition to yourself, Emily, you mentioned Dan Hord, Dave Lapham, Jeff Hobson. So that comes up. But I did have an opportunity to see you. I went to practice on Wednesday, Joe. Saw you on the sideline there walking, getting your footage. Go ahead and give us a little, and I'm looking forward to the studio tour later. So I'm going to hold you to that. But tell us what you've seen in the first 4 or 5 days of camp. Obviously, Jamar Chase has been the hot topic for all week. But what have you seen? What's kind of been the rumblings on the sideline as we kick off the new season?
So certainly topic one when you cover the Cincinnati Bengals is the guy right up there in the corner, number 9. Certainly his hair got a lot of attention on day one. I think Joe's looked great, and I think that was what we all wanted to see, was what was Joe Burrow going to look like. Look, we saw him during the offseason workouts, and we saw him during mini camp, and now we see him here at training camp. And it's seeing the changes he made to his body now in action. He looks more explosive. The couple of times you see him at practice rolling out of the pocket, he looks different. He looks better doing that, comfortable as ever, deciding where the ball is going to go before the snap. So I think everything you'd want to see from Joe Burrow performance standpoint here early in training camp, he's checked every box you can imagine he could check. And that doesn't surprise anybody considering how he talked about his recovery all offseason long and into minicamp and now training camp. So I think he's checked the box of what fans wanted to see. I've been very interested to see what we would get out of T. Higgins. Look, the Bengals are on practice number 4 tonight. I just came from practice. He's been out there and almost full go in 3 of those 4 practices. So the idea of limiting and easing T. Higgins back into it, even though he wasn't around during the offseason program, that seems to be out the window because he's out there doing pretty much everything you would always see T doing right now, which I think also speaks to his character and what this team means to him, considering this might be his last dance here in Cincinnati without the long-term contract. He's here doing his normal work. And then certainly we're all on Jamar watch. And how is this going to play out here in the first couple of weeks of camp? If I'm a Bengals fan, I don't care if Jamar practices at all. We know what he is. We know what he's about. We know when the lights go on, Jamar is going to perform. Certainly he's going to need at least a couple of weeks of work with Joe to get their timing back and be ready to go week 1, because so many people have talked about fast starts here in Cincinnati. And look, if Joe plays 17 games, they're going to go to the playoffs. But if the Bengals get off to a fast start, then you start getting home playoff games. And what a payoff that would be to the fan base to get this team home for more playoff games this year and certainly give them a better chance of going back to the Super Bowl. So those have been the storylines I've been watching. I've been very impressed with Amarius Mims, not only physically, his footwork, but just his attitude, how he fits, how other guys are enjoying being around him and watching him work. And then certainly everybody's watching the cornerback battle, which I still continue to be impressed by DJ Turner and what he's done here in the first few practices. I was just down at camp a half hour ago, and he had an unbelievable pass breakup on a ball that T. Higgins was trying to high point. and DJ jumped right with him and knocked it away. So another impressive play by him for a guy that's in one of those quote-unquote camp battles with Dax Hill. So those have been kind of the storylines I've been watching, but certainly Joe Burrow putting to rest any concern that anybody outside of Cincinnati has to be the headline here of the first week of training camp.
Yeah. And I tell you, I was just down at camp too. So, Joy, I appreciate it. I know you had to leave camp a little early to be with us and all of our viewers tonight. So I appreciate that. But the most pressing news really, is this right here. It looks like BJ Hill did finally do what he said he was going to do there.
Yeah, promises made, promises kept. And I didn't know it until I got out of the field today. And the funny thing is, Dan Horde has the access that we don't have. Dan's allowed to go right there on the field and get these pictures. So I saw Dan. I'm like, what's Dan getting a picture of? And then I turned my head about 5 feet, and there's BJ Hill with his blonde hair. So, yes, haven't had a chance to talk to BJ. We didn't see him inside the locker room. They had open locker room before practice. I think he was trying to hide from us as long as he could before he got out to the field. But he certainly – you got to give the guy credit, If you say you're going to do it, you do it, and now's the time to do it. So these kinds of things at training camp are fun. They keep things light. And the other thing that I saw today, I think you guys are going to kick out of, is Chase Brown with a very veteran move. So these guys spend a lot of time inside the locker room during training camp, in between meetings, in between walkthrough, in between practices, in between meals, and they have a stool. Well, he went on Amazon and bought like this $60 to $70 reclinable, foldable chair. And that's been the buzz of training camp today, is Chase Brown and this recliner he's got. So it's been funny to watch a young person with a vet move. I mean, Mike Hilton was laying on the ground, and Mike Hilton's been doing this a long time and said, why didn't I ever think of that? So Mike Hilton, I think, has been inspired by Chase Brown to add another kind of a foldable lawn chair recliner into the Bengals locker room. So it's not just the hair, it's recliners, it's these guys having a good time here at training camp.
Tom?
Joe, you mentioned that you're going to have the hour-long special before each preseason game that's on Fox 19 this season. As we get into the regular season, what should Bengals fan look for in terms of programming, either each week, before games, et cetera?
Yeah, this is where it gets really exciting. I'm glad you asked me about this, because this is the big change for us going forward. This is why we have expanded our sports department from 2 to 5 people, is we now have, if I add it all up together, 2 hours of extra programming a week just on the Bengals. So each week during the season, we will be doing a live, on-location, open-to-fans show that I can't say the location just yet, because I don't think the ink has been signed yet on exactly where we're going. But we have this place in mind. It is a very public place here in the greater Cincinnati area for fans to come. We're going to have live guests each week. We are lining up, I think, 2 of the top personalities to be co-hosts on this show on a weekly basis. And they'll bring friends with them from the team to get to interact with the fans. It's going to be a very light show, almost no football talk. It's going to be all about the personality of the players, the teams, our guests. And that'll be a fun show that we can't wait to announce more details about once we get everything lined up. But we're going to be planning on shooting that midweek during the season, and that'll air on Thursday night. So we'll tape it on location and take the best moments of that 30 minutes and put it on TV on Thursday nights here during the season. And then on Sunday nights, in addition to, you think about all the things that happen on Sundays during a Bengals game. We've had a 15-minute Bengals show on Sundays forever. We're now going to be adding 30 extra minutes to that. So we'll go 11:15 to 11:30, which is our sports wrap brand. But then we will go 11:30 to midnight, all Bengals, full breakdown, Jeremy and myself, all the locker room stuff, the guys that we talk to all the time, the Paul Daner Jr.'s, the Charlie Goldsmiths, the guys that add great perspective to games. We'll have a nice 30-minute window on Sunday nights to talk about everything that happened in that game. And then Sunday mornings is really exciting because the Bengals produce an hour of programming every week from the Jungle, and Bengals Weekly will air at 10 to 11 on Sunday morning. So Thursday nights, as long as the Bengals aren't playing on Thursday, you'll have a half-hour show at 11:30 that will tape midweek in front of a live audience here in town for fans to be around the players. Then Sunday mornings, 10 to 11, all Bengals programming. Then straight into Fox National at 11 o'clock. then straight into football all day long, and then us from 11:30 to midnight with a special half-hour show breaking down everything for the Bengals game. So that's why we have the expanded department to make all those things happen. And that live on-location show has become an entire station-wide project. Feels like everybody here is involved with it. It gives me a little bit of anxiety getting this thing going. Look, when you're launching something like this, you want to do it right. You want to do it big. We understand the responsibility that we have with such a big undertaking. We want to do it big, and I think it's going to be a great thing starting week 1 of the season when we will debut that show.
Joe, I don't know if you can answer this, but we got people from Toronto, Pennsylvania, all over the United States in the chat. For those that are Bengals fans and out of town, even me, I'm in the Indianapolis market. Are they able to go online and watch the show after, even if it's not live, or any insight you can give on that for those tuning in that don't live in the Cincinnati metro?
It's a great question. Another one I'm glad you're asking about. It's been a big topic of conversation here as well. We will stream that midweek show that we tape on location that will air on Thursday nights. We will stream that show, and that'll be up on digital as well for people to see it there. The 11:30 to midnight show on Sunday nights, we will not be able to, because that show will contain NFL highlights, video from the game, and the NFL has strict rules on what you can and can't do with their footage. So we won't be able to stream that show, but that one we tape midweek that will air on Thursday nights, that's going to be a lot of fun. Big personality. There is a huge personality in this rookie class we were just talking to today about securing a segment every week for that show of him trying new things in Cincinnati, whether it's pulling out the sword in an FC Cincinnati game, whether it's throwing a first pitch at a Reds game, or trying some of the new restaurants around Cincinnati, or going to a golf course, whatever it is. Huge personality in the rookie class. I'm thinking some of the Bengals fans might be able to guess who this guy might be. Again, another guy that we have to lock up completely before I can announce it. But that's going to be part of that weekly show. I think will be a lot of fun, because it's going to be a lot of fun because our new reporters here are learning the city as well. He's learning the city as well. So I want to get them together and have them experience these things for the first time together. I think it'll make for a great TV segment.
That's awesome. So Joe, I was in studio a couple times the past couple months. You're kind of just previewing Jungle Jam, and I saw the beginning stages of the building of the new Bengals, whatever the stage, whatever you guys are doing. So, are you able to get us out there? If not, no big deal.
Okay, so I'm going to do this here. So I'm inside of a conference room. I won't cover up my camera there. It's just right down the hall here. So we have here at Fox 19, our old studio, or our main studio is right around the corner right here. So I'll show you that first. So here is
they have you in the attic, Joe? What's going on, man?
Yes, this is our main studio right here where we do everything. And then out here in the hall, this is where we're adding everything. And look at the size of that thing.
There it is. There it is.
And it's not just that. There's another section to it over here. So every time I walk past this thing, I see nothing but one giant expectation that I have to fulfill. So it can be quite intimidating for someone to come by and see this every single day. You see the desk right there and all this stuff back here. It's going to be wild what we're doing here. So I'm really thrilled with what they did. And this would not have happened without the Bengals. So the Bengals contract and us becoming the TV partner. So a really cool thing, really exciting here at Channel 19 to get that thing going. They expect it to be done, guys. And this just really started the construction on it a couple of weeks ago. They expect it to be done here in, I think, just a couple of weeks. And we'll be ready to rock with it, ready for football season. What about a month? Holy cow. Yeah, it's almost here.
That's a lot of square footage out there, man. That's awesome.
Like I said, every time I walk by it, I say, whoa, that is one giant expectation that I have to fulfill. And I think Bengals fans would appreciate this. I've covered this team since Dick LeBeau was the head coach. And, I understand the responsibility that comes with this platform of us being the Bengals TV partner. And one thing I left out is we have another half-hour live training camp show tomorrow night at 6:30. That'll air again on Monday night at 11:30. So we've already started some of our special programming. We had an hour-long draft special, draft weekend. We had one the opening night of camp. We have another one tomorrow night. So look, when you get a team like this in an era like this here in Cincinnati, you have to capitalize. And that's what, what we do in the media, what we do in TV. When you see a moment like this, you have to capitalize on it. And I hope we deliver with everything that we can, because I understand how important of a period of time this is in Cincinnati Bengals history.
Yeah, Joe, I don't stress, brother. you guys are going to kill it. I got to say something about Joe, not just you, but everybody there at the station. I'm talking about Stefano, Jeremy, Trisha, Bob, Julie, Megan, Allison. Look, man, you got a bunch of great people you work with. I know I'm leaving out names there, Joe, but you got a hell of a crew there and a bunch of good folks you work with, man. And you guys do a hell of a job. You really do.
I appreciate you saying that. And like you mentioned, it's all those names. It's everybody involved. And that's the cool thing about this, is that like when the Bengals go to the playoffs, the entire station then gets involved, right? But during the regular season, they usually let the coverage to the sports department. And, we kind of have to carry that weight. But when you get something like we have now, it's got the entire station involved, from everybody in management to everybody in marketing, to everybody in sales, to everybody in the news side. It's pretty cool to see us all come together on this one big thing. And it's cool. It's a really cool thing. And I think it gets a chance for us to step out of our comfort zone. And especially if you've been doing this like I have for more than 20 years, to give your career a new wrinkle. You've been doing it one way for so long, and now you step out and, you have to add on new things and almost reinvent yourself in what you're doing. And I think that's kind of a cool challenge for me as well. I think all of us sometimes are a little hesitant to change. And so when it first was dropped on us, it was a little bit overwhelming. But now that we're in it, it's exciting, it's different, and I know it matters. And that's what's really cool about this, right? I know how much this means to people and what this team means to this city. And I think that's what's really invigorating and exciting about this whole thing, is how much it matters to people. And that adds so much more to the energy of what you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah. So James, I'm going to go to one of these questions. Joe, I'm taking a chance on this. I should know better because I know this guy. I know what James is looking at in here, but so Scott Heineke say you may or may not know the dance "Bye Bye Bye" by NSYNC.
but he prefaced it by you had the unfortunate honor of going to school or growing up with him too. So yes. I apologize. I've only known Scott for 10 years. He's a buddy at Bengal Gym. So we apologize in advance for Scott in the comments.
No, I do have an answer. Scott's awesome. The Heineke family is amazing. My dad is really good friends with his father. And so our families grew up with each other, going to family parties. I can remember the long trips to Westchester. I'm a Northern Kentucky guy, so that felt like driving to the other side of the world to go to the Heineke house. But it was a big deal for us because I knew it was going to be a good time. He is incorrect. I do not know the full dance to the Bye 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 dance. I know the full dance to It's Gonna Be Me by NSYNC. I had to do it in a college talent show. Okay, so I was not in a frat in college at Syracuse. I had several friends who were, but I loved to go have a good time when I was in college. And a lot of times that included me getting out of the dance floor and having a great time. So they recruited me to be the front man to their talent show of a performance of Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, It's Gonna Be Me, and we brought the house down. And to this day, I can still probably do about 60 to 70% of the dance, even though it's been 24 years since I last did it.
You don't need to tonight. You're good.
I can do it on demand. You just play the music and watch it happen, baby.
We're good.
Hey, on the new stage out there in the studio, it's happening. And then
you know what? That might be a good segment there for that live show. Okay, a little dance off. I can make that happen.
Yeah. So there is another question. This is for James and you. What exactly?
We changed it. We changed it. It's no longer Orangemen. It was offensive like a Redskin. So they're just the orange. We have little Otto running around, and it's no longer an Indian. That's why I kept Crypt Keeper's comment over on the timeout over there on the side.
the giant orange. I call him Orangey Orange. I like him. It's a great mascot. Great mascot. So, Tom, you got anything else? We've kept him longer than I told him. So.
No, I want to congratulate him. And it's not, being a local guy, he doesn't know, but it's got to be that much more exciting for Channel 19. And like you said, especially during this era, we often talk about it isn't just the fact that they're winning, but the guys that they have brought in are so easy to work with and root for. There is nothing, and I'm old, there is nothing that can bring this town together and give it more enthusiasm than when the Cincinnati Bengals are winning. Nothing else like it. Those 3 trips to the Super Bowl, it changes everything in this town. Everybody's smiling for no reason. Everybody's holding doors for each other. Everybody's yelling "Hooday!" Everybody's slapping each other on the back. So congratulations to you and your team. And it sounds like you're really fired up and you're going to do us all justice.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. And you're right. Being from this city and living through the first 2 Super Bowls, I was a baby during the first Super Bowl, but I remember Super Bowl 23 like it was yesterday. I remember refusing the next day in school to not write the numbers 4 or 9 in any of my assignments. I was so heartbroken as a 9-year-old. But just to see the eras and then to the 90s and the 2000s and now to do this professionally, it's not lost on me, guys. And I think that's important. If I was a viewer, to have somebody who understands the city, somebody who understands the franchise and what they've gone through and where they are now. And to your point about that room, it's as good of a room as we've ever had professionally doing what I'm doing. Guys are approachable, guys are fun, guys have great personalities, and they're professional too, right? And I think that's a big part of the connection between this city and this team. Look, we've asked 3 guys on the team right now for big asks for this show to be a big part of it. And all 3 of them jumped in right away. And 2 of them are A-listers. And one of them is a rookie who's never done anything here in this city and is just getting to know it. So I think that speaks to the character a little bit of the locker room and the culture of Zach Taylor. I don't think we ever can talk about that enough. That's a top-down thing with Zach Taylor and this team. And I appreciate you guys, everything you do on your end, because what you guys do and uniting the fan base, I think, is a really cool thing and a great thing. And we notice it. We love to follow it. And you guys make it easy for us, too, because that's a big part of the story, especially come big games, come playoff time, come Super Bowl time. The fans are just as big of a story as the team. And we try to tell that story here as well.
Well, Joe, man, it means a lot you being here with us. I know, guys, everybody that's watching right now, I seen him on the sideline today. I didn't want to, bug him on the sideline, but at camp. But he literally left camp early just to be on the show to talk to you guys. And look, man, Joe, there's a lot of things that have changed in this organization over the last couple of years, and everything seems to be going in the right direction. We're excited for you guys. We're happy for you guys. Brother, we look forward to – if you need anything from us during the season, you just let us know. Use us as a resource if you need us. We're here for you guys. I feel bad for you at times that you got to work with Trisha Mackey. So, I feel for you. So,
you guys are first class. You guys are great. Thank you for having me tonight. This is a great thing for me to be able to talk about it, and I aprieciate that.
We appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you later. Have a good one. Good day, buddy.
See you guys.
Good day.
Go Orange. All righty, let's get me off big screen.
Found another Q's guy. He found another Q's guy here.
This guy in the city. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I didn't even know that. I just looked in the bio, and first thing that pops up.
It was funny. I saw you. I think you were probably on your phone, and I just seen this big smile on your face. I was like, "What did he just find? What did he just find?" And there it was.
Another.
So we appreciate Joe. Stay tuned. We're going to end the show with the lucky person that's going to win the year of tickets. That's going to include all preseason tickets and all regular season tickets. So we appreciate everyone that contributed to that. And let's go to the Jungle Jam recap, Jimmy. Let's go ahead and you kick that off.
Yeah, actually, look, guys, I just came from camp, and it was a lot of work, guys. We put a lot of work into this. We just wanted to make it the most fan-friendly event we possibly could make this. We went out of our way. And then with all the things that were happening the week of, especially Friday, where we had TJ Hushmanzada that got stuck on the West Coast, couldn't make it in. We had some other guys that couldn't make it in. We were losing our minds the night before. Jeff Blake went out of his way, got in town at like 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Willie Anderson got in late. Ken Riley II was able to get in. These guys were saying, hey, if I have to wait another delay, like Willie was in the airport from like 9 or 10 in the morning to like 6 with all the craziness, the cancellations. Great turnout of former players, good handful of current players, Coach Taylor. And it just seemed like everybody had a great time. And that's what it was about. There was a kid today at camp with his family and his dad, mom and dad there, that was telling his mom and dad after that event, Jungle Jam, that he wanted to go back the next day. That is exactly what we were trying to do, guys. And again, it's our first time doing it to this extent. So bigger and better, and just keep improving on this from year to year. So we appreciate everybody being involved in it. And we should be able to give some numbers out as from the charity perspective this week. The venue couldn't reconcile all the dollars that we were spending there and the ticket stuff. They said it's supposed to be tomorrow or Tuesday. So sometime this week, you're going to see the final tally of numbers as far as for the charity. We know, I think everybody that was there or saw it on social media, that we presented a check for $25,000 to Joe Burrow's foundation. Jimmy and Robin Burrow were there. We're going to try to figure out exactly how much more we have in there, but the rest of that is going to go to those other charities that we talked about. Ken Anderson Alliance,
Revive Foundation,
Revive Family Foundation, Small Town Big Dreams. Yeah. So all those charities are going to benefit. We'll give you that final tally and post receipts like we do every single time. Huge expenses, but you guys showed out. It was unbelievable. The line, I got texts from people as we were setting up, and the line was going down the street, around one of the parking lots, around the building. Shocked how many people are getting there that early. So appreciate you guys being part of this and understanding that some of the guys got stuck on these flight issues, those cancellations. But I'm going to go through some pictures here. The band was great. Trailer Park Floozers were great. Coach Taylor was awesome in the 2024 season preview. Tom drove that conversation with the Jungle to the Hall 4, which was outstanding again. The VIP session that we had with Blake, Willie, Marissa Contapelli, and Trenton Irwin. The people that were in that VIP session got more than what they even asked for that. That was awesome. And it was awesome. It was just a great, great day. We got lucky with the weather. That was one of the things. The other thing that was stressing us out as a group. Hopefully it wasn't too hot that day, because I'm not sure how much more room we could have had inside. But let me go through some pictures here, guys. You guys kind of fill in. I'm going to try to share my screen.
And while you do that, we see a couple comments as we talked about John from Pennsylvania, but we didn't have a list. We have names and email addresses of people that purchased tickets. And from what we were to gather, easily 13 different states, from Florida to the Northeast to as far west as California, as Jimmy goes through these. So thank you. There's that huge line wrapped all the way around the south side of the building, the west side of the building to the north side of the building. And, for security reasons nowadays, with the crazy world we live in, everybody had to go through, but we appreciate everyone's patience. That picture there, thanks again to Ron Boyle, our cornhole champions, and another big thank you to the Houday ladies who oversaw that, helped us pack bags, a big part of that special day for sure. Joe Burrow print, we thank our man Sean Vogler. Gentleman walked away with that print, ecstatic. The picture's not in the slideshow, but they were outside taking a picture of his vehicle, which was jungle striped and pretty cool looking. And I think this was the shot, Tom, you want to talk about this, that you were hoping for as we talked about it, just packed inside, what people can't see.
I was hoping, but just us doing it, didn't know that we had it, but to realize that we filled the auditorium, and then on the other side, going out behind the stage, you go outside and there are just as many people there.
Yeah.
It blows me away. And it just shows, no matter how some don't want it, no matter how some try to mask it, man, the enthusiasm and love for this team is real and there. And it was an incredibly special day. And there's some incredibly special guys right there that made it that way.
Yeah.
That was the fourth Jungle to the Hall. Go back there real quick. This year, Tom, we highlighted Willie and Kenny, as you can see there. We want to thank Dave Lapham, Dan Horde for being part of that, Jeff Hobson over there. You can see Ken Riley and Max Montoya. I think I got everybody there that was part of Jungle to the Hall. And that's how this whole thing started, during COVID in Canton, Ohio, when we did the first one that Willie was at, and everybody showed up when middle of COVID. Sold out that tent, and this is kind of the next evolution from that. Kenny, Max, and Dave there. Enjoying
Joe Walters. Yeah, good old Joe and Willie, man. These guys got to sit down and chat and talk for the first time in a long time together. That was fun.
If anybody has never met Joe Walter, man, he wears his teammates out. He is the funniest guy, the funniest former Bengal I have met. He is hysterical how he wears those guys out. Even if he's just walking by and casually passes them, he'll hit them with a hard zinger. But incredibly nice guy.
Yeah, the Bengals were there a good chunk of the day. They had a great time. They didn't know what they were walking into or what to expect that day. I was talking to Charlotte's cheerleading coach and the cheerleaders today at the camp, and they loved it. They had such a great time. Here's our James. Want to talk about James, Tom? Anybody want to hit on this auto? This is looks like the first autograph session of the day here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was, and you can see Bob Johnson. How long did Bob Johnson, God bless him, our number one first pick overall? 3 hours was he out there?
Two stories, with all that. Bob Johnson got there, and a couple of our VIPs upstairs were late. Bob Johnson walked in the room, talked to everybody for just a moment, and then came down. Bob was a little banged up and wasn't getting around it, I think, as quickly as he will be very soon, but walked all over the place, talked to everybody, sat outside in the tent. And as we were going out and checking on those guys, and the line, I think, went from there in Newport all the way to Paycor Stadium, it felt like. But he kept signing. He had somebody there kind of helping him, watching over him. He kept signing, and the other guys, who they were all so polite but fulfilled their obligations to you fans. Bob wouldn't leave. Bob just wouldn't leave. They had to make him get up and leave, and then after he's getting up and leaves, he walks inside and addresses the crowd inside. The other guy's the guy next to him to his left, Jim Breach. When I mentioned to him, hey, Jim, your time's way past, and that was when Bob was leaving, and Jim and ML Harris were the only ones there. And Jim Breach said, "They're in line. I'm signing for them." So I didn't check on him after that, but I think he cleared the line out. Just class guys.
Yeah, first class. That's what he said. I was checking on him too. Hey, as long as there's people here, I'll sign. Yep. This next slide, face painting. Thanks to Tony for organizing the two wonderful face paint ladies that we had. And again, if you weren't there, this was all free. So 100% free. Vehicles outside, Jimmy. You know more about this than Tom or I. Why don't you go ahead and talk about all these cool vehicles we had outside?
Yeah, it's really bad. I don't have pictures of all of them, and I can't remember whose vehicle is what, but these are two of my more favorite vehicles. The Jeeps were cool. Some of the other things, the Hall of Fame truck was awesome. But look at that. You got, Joe Burrow and Paul Brown and the 1968-69 Bengals logo on that whip. That is, I'm sorry, guys. That's badass. I love that. Love that vehicle. And then you got this one right here, just that matte black. I mean, just some really cool vehicles. That's some of we were able to put like 5 or 6 of them out front. I could have put 100 of them out there if we had the room. There was that many people that wanted in on that. So appreciate those guys being there for that. And what was really cool, there was a proclamation done by the city of Newport. The mayor had done the proclamation the day before at the courthouse, I think, there in Newport. This is the Newport commissioner right here, because the mayor had to go out of town. But the Newport commissioner presented Kenny that did the proclamation on the mic for Kenny. And Kenny had no idea that was happening there, which is really cool. So
we thought Tom was going to show up in that orange suit, but I don't know what happened.
Was that the cleaners?
Yeah.
Was that the cleaners?
And Lee from who did all the tailgate stuff and put all together these cornhole sets for the cornhole tournament, James, did one hell of a job. These boards turned out amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And again, thank you to the Houday ladies. And actually, we do have a set that he donated that we're going to be raffling off for charity. So we appreciate him doing that. If you're interested in one of those, reach out. Happy to get that to somebody for a donation to one of our charities. Here you can see the trailer park floozies rocking out. Thank Craig and the cigar bar. You can see Dell and Tom helped with the vendor setup. They were up top. One thing that was some people, there's some misconceptions. It was 100% free. Anybody could go up there. You didn't need a special pass, but thank you to Craig and Dell for overseeing that up, kind of overlooking the outside area.
Skinny Ricky killed it with his Who Dey anthem right there to cheerleaders. And there were so many kids and families getting pictures of the cheerleaders. And cheerleaders had a constant smile on their face. And this 2024 season preview was outstanding. Zach was very open to a lot of good questions, and he was great. He was there for about an hour, solid hour on that piece of it. DJ Trubb was having a good time as usual. She went out of her way to make it down to spend some time with us. But there's hundreds and hundreds of more pictures. I just wanted to put those together pretty quickly right before the show this evening. But again,
and one thing I want to touch on, Ron brings it up in the chat. We mentioned he was so generous as always with those custom trophies, but 25 different vendors, I think, small family-owned businesses that were part of the day, had everything from the Evan McPherson leg lamps to custom sneakers to you name it. So
let me
cards. We appreciate everything that they did and part of that special day.
Yeah, let me add to that. That's a great point, James. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but understand that these are almost every one of the vendors that were there were small family-run businesses here in the tri-state area. Now, that was our focus, right? It's bringing people together. How do we help local small businesses here? There was at least 4. Now, there could be more, but there was at least 4 of those businesses that were there that day. It was their biggest one day in sales ever since they've been in business. And that's what it's about, man. When you bring people together like that, have a good time, support the charities, and support small local family-run businesses, that's what it's about. And that was everybody that was in attendance. There were so many great vendors there. The leg lamp guy was killing it. Game day gear.
Sold out of leg lamps.
Yeah, sold out of leg lamps, man. He was so
thought. But here's another one in the chat, Dawn. I think Dawn was going to shoot me come Friday afternoon. She did all the wonderful signs, whether it was the red carpet sign, whether it's the big banners hanging. You can see it in the background of that inside picture. But Dawn from Minuteman Press in Florence was so gracious, so patient as we were adding sponsors, adding the charities, and she did it all. And I can't thank Dawn and her staff at Minuteman Press in Florence enough.
Let me add to that. Dawn, thank you so much. You guys were a big part of that. Thanks for being part of it. And we had the face painters, but we had a very special magician in the house. Keith Moeller was there. I think he's in the chat area right now. And I saw some videos after the event, a day or two after the event, where families were taking videos of what Keith was doing. Keith volunteered his time for that to make that an outstanding event. And that's what it's about. When you bring local people together on the same page to try to accomplish the same goal, outstanding day. We appreciate everybody for being part of it. It just we've already got some dates locked up next year, but we got a lot of stuff to talk through about the event for next year. But a good first shot at the end of the day. We got to continue doing Jungle to the Hall and get to Jungle to the Hall 4, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. This is where it started, making sure we recognize and make players that we feel are Bengal legends that should be in the Hall of Fame. And more importantly, even the guys that aren't Hall of Famers or maybe Ring of Honor guys, we can't let people like M.L. Harris, and some of these other guys be forgotten. They were having so much fun. Pete Johnson, Mike Sinclair. These are some names you might not know, but they played for the Bengals and represented our team for many, many years. And it was fun to see them all up in the green room in the VIP area with the players, just BSing and having a good time and listening to them share stories with each other. It was hilarious.
100%. We Johnny Hodge did all the kids things, the 4 inflatables. Thank you to his volunteers that stood there all day and made sure the kids were safe. That's a big liability thing, and those had to be monitored all day. So thank you to Johnny and his team. And you can go back. There's Haven did some live videos that day from Jungle Jam. You can go back on Facebook, see those. Interview with Richie Bram, an interview with Pete Johnson, interview with some kids there. But appreciate Haven. And if you didn't see videos of that, go back to the Facebook page and check those out. There's the check with Jimmy and Robin. Those grab bags, that's one thing we didn't talk about. 2 days packing those. There was a little Joe Burrow Foundation squeezy football in there. the cards that so many people got autographed. But thank you to all those and everybody that walked through the doors got those. So we appreciate everybody that.
Well, everyone needs to appreciate those cards because they will not be back next year.
Let me tell you something. Just not going to
a limited edition Dirty Dozen set.
James was underestimating a couple. My house here, Trisha packed 700 decks of those damn cards by herself. My whole first floor was filled up with cards. The Houday ladies, like James said earlier, had a bunch of volunteers, multiple days in my office packing these bags. Huge undertaking. We didn't have any idea what we were walking into with that, but amazing that everybody that walked in that door that paid for a ticket got a bag. And that is all because of the volunteers. And the Houday ladies were awesome. A lot of folks come to the tailgate. We're a big part of that. And I do have to thank my wife, Trisha. I mean, she was on a mission for 2.5 days here at my house.
She was.
I literally walked in from work and I didn't want to walk in because there was just cards everywhere because we had to kind of sort them and collate them. But thanks again, everybody, for being part of it. It was a very special day for everybody there. And I tell you what, it was when people were making comments, one of the most fun Bengals events outside of a game day experience that they've been to. That means something. That's pretty powerful stuff. So thanks, everybody, for being part of it. And stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff planned the upcoming year and next year for this as well. So.
And a big part of that was the Year of Tickets raffle. Those were available on the One Cause platform. 100% of those proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Foundation. And it was a way for those that couldn't attend Jungle Jam to be involved. So we promised tonight we're going to do that winner. And I'm
hey, James. James, you mind? Let's hit this bourbon thing real quick, and we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do the bourbon thing real quick, and then we'll get to we'll finish the show with the tickets here. But real quick, guys, a few months ago, Wenzel Distillery here, Bill, Griffin, and Erica from Midway Cafe approached us. But hey, I go to Midway Cafe a lot for lunch, a couple times a month, and big time bourbon people are like, hey, we would like to do a Bengal Jim and Friends tailgate bourbon. And then we started talking about it. A couple of times later, she'd say, hey, we want to do this. I was like, let's put a date together. Let's just have a conversation around this. So I met with them initially, and then we set up a blending event. But we posted this was it Friday we posted this for the first time, guys? So it's a Bengal Jim and Friends bottle of bourbon, and it's a blend. It is very special because the people that we had involved in this blend are some pretty damn amazing people. One of those individuals right here, Molly Wellman, is not just national, but an internationally known cocktail person or mixologist here in Cincinnati. She was part of our blending. We sat there and had 4 different barrels of bourbon that we blended, all of us, 8 or 9 of us in our group. And Molly being there, Erica being there, Griffin and Bill, these guys are some of the biggest bourbon experts in our region here. And to come up with this very special blend of bourbon. And what's cool about it is literally it's $100 bottle, but $20 for every bottle is going to the Alzheimer's Association. And as of 6 o'clock, James, what was that number again? Like 240-ish, somewhere around there, right?
100%. Over $4,000 raised already for the Alzheimer's Association.
So basically what we're doing is it's a pre-order right now. We'll put a link in the chat area for you. It's on our social media platforms.
Link is in chat already. Ready
so
to go.
So basically go on and pre-order them. The bottles will be numbered. It's 107 proof. It is a very special bourbon. Molly Wellman basically compared it to Stag Junior with some cherry notes and a finish. I'm not a big I can't explain how she explained it as well as she did, but $20 per bottle going directly to the foundation. But it's a pre-order on August 17th, the Bengals game against the Bears in Chicago. There's going to be a watch party at Midway Cafe in Fort Thomas. So you will actually be able to come up there from 11 to 6 o'clock and pick up your bottle of bourbon. You can get it waxed, dipped in wax, black and orange wax dip if you want to do that. If you want to hang out, and they have great chicken wings, great food there. We're going to do a watch party that day and watch the Bengals beat the Bears in the preseason game August 17th. So you're more than welcome, but we're already almost 240 plus bottles, and we expect to get to 500. They will be numbered, but make sure you buy a bottle. If you're not a big bourbon person, it's a collector's edition, and there's some exclusivity to it because of the numbering of the bottle. So
sounds like it's got a stronger kick than Evan McPherson.
107 proof, baby.
You know what? As Jimmy said, it was a blind test. So 9 of us that were there submitted our entries through a blend, and we finalized it or pared it down to 3, and then we pared it down to 2, and then made the selection. And how fitting is it that out of the 9 people through the blind draw, it was Jimmy's palate that was selected for what he concocted, and that's the actual what's in the bottle. So I think everyone will enjoy it, whether you're first-time bourbon person, whether you want to give it as a gift for upcoming holiday season, or if you want to simply enjoy it. I think you will, as Jimmy said, 107 proof and pretty easy to drink. So over $4,000 raised. Again, everything we do is for charity, for the Alzheimer's Association. So we thank Anne-Marie for helping with that, and just a huge way to start off the season. We haven't even kicked off the football yet for preseason game 1, and over 50,000 raised for various charities. So all that's possible because of you. So anything else we missed on that, Jimmy?
I think we hit it.
And again, this is something we've been promoting since we started Jungle Jam, and this was only possible because of a generous regular at the tailgate who offered to give up his season tickets for the year for charity. So you're going to get the preseason games and the regular season games as we talked about. See if I can add this to the stage. Is that full screen for everybody?
Yes, I can see it. It's about how many names? How many names is that, James? About
134 total entries. Some people did buy multiple. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them here. I'm going to shuffle them 9 times for Joe Burrow, since they're going to benefit his foundation, and just did
there
1.
You go.
Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 shuffles. You can see all the entries. You will see some repeat names. Those people did buy multiple entries. So anything else we want to touch on before we spin the wheel and award the big winner?
No, I just to reiterate, guys, this is preseason and regular season. Does not include any playoffs. Okay, this is a really big deal, and we have a lot of names on this list right here. So, James, good luck to everybody. So whoever gets this is a really big deal. This is the Super Bowl year, man. So this is awesome.
All right, Tom, you give us the words. A little longer spin here. We got a 25-second spin. We're going to go on your call, Tom.
Go.
All right, here we go.
25-second spin.
25-second spin.
Uh-oh, here it is.
Jessica Anderson. I do not know Jessica.
I don't either. Tom, is that somebody you know?
It is not anyone I know, but congratulations to her. And we'll add her to part of our 65,000 very close friends we'll see every home Sunday between now and late January.
Congratulations, Jessica. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll be in touch. We'll shoot you a text, give you a call, and make sure those get in the right hand. So congratulations to Jessica. There's one comment over here in the text. David said, never in my wildest dreams. I think I talked to Kenny, Dave, Max, and all my Bengals heroes. So again, appreciate all those former players and an opportunity for Bengals fans to see them up close. I know somebody like Richie Bram we haven't seen in a while. Jeff Blake, a lot of names that were there for Jungle Jam, and an opportunity for people to see them. Sarah says, misspelled your. We're sorry, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Congratulations. But we appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. As we're ready to wind down the show, stay tuned. Full tilt from now till the first kickoff. If you can't make that pickup date for the bourbon, let us know. Maybe somebody in town can pick it up for you. So again, that's going to be August 17th. All that is available online with 100% of the proceeds going to the Alzheimer's Association. Tom, anything I'm forgetting?
No, not with that. We 2-minute warning tonight, or just
nope. That's it. That's it.
Tom?
Well, congratulations. That's something because we weren't on and couldn't talk about. We have 2 new members to the Ring of Honor. So congratulations to future Pro Football Hall of Famer Corey Dillon and the great Tim Crumry. No Bengal has ever played with more heart and passion than Tim Crumry. So certainly 2 guys that very much deserve to be up there, and it'll be great to see them both go on in September.
Yeah. And just real quick, everybody, at some point this week, we'll talk about the charity numbers from the events, the Jungle Jam, but also we're hoping to have up this week information about the Charlotte tailgate, the Nashville tailgate, the night before event that we're going to do in Kansas City. So just stay tuned for that. We secured parking and massive parking lots in Nashville and Charlotte, and a really fun night, Saturday night pre-Sunday game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So stay tuned. That will be posted on our social media platforms here very soon. But guys, we appreciate you guys being with us tonight. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Sunday. Call your friends and family. Have somebody buy a bottle of bourbon for you if you can't buy one yourself. So we appreciate you guys.
Hooday.
Hooday.